There's the boy, huh?
You've no children, Jack, no?
No, darling, never married. But I do be telling this fella to be on the lookout. A young fella like him not to end up like me.
Do you wish you had married?
Sure, who'd have me? A cantankerous old fucker like me.
Too right.
Yeah, it's a thing, you know. I do say it to Brendan. I'm down in the garage and the fucking tin roof on the thing. All alone on that country road. You see, it was bypassed by the main road into Carrick, and there's no... Like in the summer, the heat has the place like an oven with the roof. Or if it's not that, it's the rain pelting down on it like bricks, the noise of it. And there you'll be. The only car stopping in be someone that knows the area real well. You definitely feel it like. But you know, I get down here for a pint and that. There's a lot to be said for the company and the someone there. Oh, yeah.
Did you never consider it when you were young?
Oh, sure, yeah. Of course I did. Sure. What the hell else does a young fellow be thinking about, you know? And Brendan knows. I had a girl. A lovely girl back then. We were courting for 3 years. 1963 to 66. But she wanted to go up to Dublin, you know. She would have thought that's what we should have done. And I don't know why it was a thing with me, an irrational fear, I suppose, that kept me here. And I couldn't understand why she wanted to be running off up to Dublin, you know. And she did, in the end. Anyway, like. And she was working there, waiting for me to come. But with me, it was a mad thing. That I thought it was 1,000 fucking miles away. Hated going up. I went up a few times, but I was going up for, you know, she had a room. Freezing, damp place. I was a terrible fella. It became that was the only reason I was going for. I couldn't stand being away. I don't know why. I'd be all excited about going up for the physical, the freedom of it. But after a day and a night, and I'd had my fill, we'd be going for a walk, and I'd be all catty and bored and moochy. Breaking the poor girl's heart. You get older and look back on why you did things. You see, a lot of the time, there wasn't a reason. You do a lot of things out of pure cussedness. I stopped answering her letters. And I'd fucking dread one coming to the house and her in it wondering how I was and was there something wrong with the post or this. I can't explain what carry-on I was up to. I had just left her out. Being the big fella. Me dad handing over the business to me. Me swanning around, a man of substance. And then I had the gall to feel resentful when she wrote and said she was getting married to a fella. And I was all, that it was her fault for going up in the first place. There was a delegation of people from all around here going up to the wedding on the bus. And I was just one of the crowd, just one of the guests, in my suit, and the shoes nearly polished off me. And a hangover like you wouldn't believe. I'd been up to 5 or more, swilling the stuff, looking at the fire. And we were all on the bus at 9. And all the chat all around was why she hadn't come home to get married. And me sick as a dog. The smell of Brill cream off all us culchies. Sitting in the church in Fidsborough. All her lovely-looking nurse friends and their guard boyfriends. She was marrying a guard. Huge fella. Shoulders like a big gorilla. And they were coming down the aisle after. And I gave her the cheesiest little grin you'd ever seen. A little grin that was saying, enjoy your big gorilla, because the future is all ahead of me. And she just looked at me like I was only another guest at the wedding. And that was that. And the future was all ahead of me. Years and years of it. I could feel it coming. All those things you've got to face on your own, all by yourself. And you bear it because you're showing everybody what a great fellow you are altogether. But I left the church like a little boy. And I walked away. I couldn't go to the reception. I just kept walking. There was a light rain. I just kept walking. And then I was in town. It was a dark day, like there was a roof on the sea. And I found myself in a little labyrinth of streets with nothing doing. And I ducked into a pub, little dark place. Only one or two others there. A business-like barman, like yourself, Brenton. Business-like, dutiful. And I put a pint or two away, and a small one or two. And I sat there, just looking down at the dirty wooden bar. And the barman asked if I was all right. Simple little question. And I said I was. And he said he'd make me a sandwich. And I said, okay. And I nearly started crying because, here was someone just... And I watched. He took 2 big slices off a fresh loaf and buttered them carefully, spreading it all around. I'll never forget it. And then he sliced some cheese and cooked ham and an onion out of a jar and put it all on a plate and sliced it down the middle. And just someone doing this for me and putting it down in front of me. Get that down, he said. And then he folded up his newspaper and went off on his break. And there was another barman. And I took this sandwich up. And I could hardly swallow it because of the lump in my throat. But I ate it all down because someone I didn't know had done this for me. Such a small thing. But a huge thing in my condition. It fortified me like no meal I've ever had in my life. And I went to that reception. And I was properly ashamed of myself. There was a humility that I've tried to find since. But goodness wears off. And it just gets easier to be a contrary bollocks. Down in the garage. Spinning small jobs out all day. Taking hours to fix a puncture. Stops you thinking about what might have been and what you should have done. It's like looking away, like I did at that reception. You should only catch someone's eye for the right reason. And I'll tell you, there's not one morning that I don't wake up with her name in the room.